Hello guys, welcome back. In this video, let us create this architecture. Now you can see what does this architecture contain: a Lambda function and an API gateway and a DynamoDB at the backend, right? Yes. So to create this architecture, currently I want to show you. You already know how to create these environments directly from AWS Management Console. So, but now in this lab, I want to show you how to create this environment by using SAM templates, that is SAM templates. And even I want to show you, so in simpler way, how to create this architecture, I want to show you in this lab. Actually, you create this infrastructure by using SAM templates, by using SAM templates file. Those files are in the format of YAML format. By using what service you actually create this infrastructure, we call this infrastructure, where that is created by SAM templates as stack. So how do we create this stack infrastructure? So first we initially create a SAM template YAML file. So for creating our SAM template YAML file, we are creating it by using this Cloud9 environment. Then after creating a SAM template file, so even I want to show you the easy way to create a SAM template file from already available templates. Then after creating our SAM template file, then after I want to show you how to deploy it by using CloudFormation service to create this whole stack, or you can say infrastructure that you want to create in your cloud. Then after creating this, after deploying this, after developing this, I want to store my SAM template file under my AWS CodeCommit, or you can say I want to save whole application function in this CodeCommit private repository to save for future use, right? Yeah. So for this lab, let's start with creating a SAM template in order to create this whole stack related infrastructure by deploying that template in CloudFormation. So in order to create it, let's first create this Cloud9 environment. So what we are going to do now in this lab, we are creating a SAM template, SAM template, Serverless Application Model template, in order to create this whole infrastructure by using that template. In order to create our SAM template, now we are using this Cloud9 environment. So for that, we are just now creating this Cloud9 environment. Now I already logged into my AWS management console. Now I'm searching for Cloud9 and I'm opening it now. Here I want to create a Cloud9 environment. In order to create my template, that is a SAM template, and deploy the template, I need an environment. So that's what I'm creating in my Cloud9. Currently, I do not have any environment, so that's why I'm creating a new one for me for this lab. Here, you need to provide your environmental details. Now, I'm providing my environment name as env1. And on top of what environment type you actually creating this environment. On top of newly existing instances or already available or already existing instances, you want to create this Cloud9 environment, or you want to create it on new EC2 instances. For this lab, I want to move on with the new EC2 instances, so that's why I choose this. And that instance type I choose it. I'm moving on with the default options of this instance type, platform, and timeout as well. You can see T2 micro is the instance type, and platform is a Linux, and timeout is after 30 minutes of the session, which is not that is inactive, this Cloud9 will automatically log out. By using SSH connection, I want to connect, so that's why I selected this. And even I have a need to put this under a specific VPC, so that's why I selected this. And even I want to put this under particular subnet, so that's why I selected this. Now that's it. I'm moving on with creating this environment. Here I provided the environmental details. And environment type, I want to create it on new EC2 instance, so that's why I selected this. And my instance related configuration, so that is instance type as T2 micro and platform Linux. And if I haven't opened this Cloud9 for 30 minutes, then the session will be inactive. By using SSH connection, I want to connect, and I provided the VPC connection related details. Now, if you require, then you can even provide the tags here. Now I'm just clicking on create, so that this environment one will be created. You can see currently it is under creating state. It may take you few seconds to minutes in order to create this environment. Now you can see a message that is successfully created environment 1. So we have now our Cloud9 environment available. So let's move back to our architecture. Now we have just created a Cloud9 environment. In this Cloud9 environment, we will actually create our SAM templates in order to deploy this whole infrastructure by using a CloudFormation. We will actually create SAM template in this Cloud9. So now let's do create that SAM template by opening this Cloud9. You can see I opened this Cloud9. I'm opening this Cloud9 environment by just clicking on open. So whenever I clicked on open, it just opens me a new tab. Now let's wait till it opens. You can see it was opened with already pre-available instructions. It just opened. Now I'm just closing all the other windows or terminals that it has, and now I'm just closing all other terminals. Now you can see we have the welcome screen, and here we have this environmental folder. Currently it is located to home, EC2 user and environment. Now I'm just closing this welcome screen as well. Now what I'm expecting to create a Lambda function with API gateway, right? And a database backend, a database DynamoDB as a backend for my Lambda function. So these are the 3 items that I want to create. So for that, you can just click on this AWS. So let's make it colorful so that it will be, the visibility of the theme will be good. Now I'm just changing the theme to Xcode. You can see the theme got changed to color, white color mode, so that it will be clearly visible to us. Now, so what are the services do you have? So those services will be visible here, and you can see what are the things which are present under the service as well. You can see I have one Lambda function that is visible here, right? Yeah. So now let's open and see, do I have any API gateways? No API gateways are available here, and one Lambda function is there. Now what I'm expecting, I want to create a SAM template, right? By using that SAM template, I want to create Lambda function, API gateway and DynamoDB table, right? Yeah. So for that, you just click on the Lambda function and double click on it, or right click on it, so that it will provide you these 3 options. That is create a Lambda SAM application, edit and deploy your Lambda SAM application. Now I'm just expecting to create a Lambda SAM application. So that's why I selected this. So whenever you select there, it will provide you configurations here. It will ask you to configure the configurations here. On top of what runtime environment you want your SAM template. So currently I want 3.9 as my runtime. So that's why I selected that. And you need to select the architecture for your Lambda as well. I want 64 bits. So that's why I'm selecting this x86 64. And now I'm selecting that template, already available SAM templates for my Lambda function. You can see AWS SAM hello world, a basic SAM template is there. Now I'm just choosing it, and I want to provide the environment. I also need to select the folder for my SAM application. I'm selecting the folder inside this Cloud9 IDE, by using this env1 environment folder I selected, now we need to provide our application name. Since I am creating an application function, so I named it as app.fn. Now I'm just clicking on enter. Immediately you can move to this environments. You can see this app function environment is available now, right? Yes, this app function related environment is now available. Now I'm just closing whatever the pop-ups that I'm getting, right? Yeah, I closed the pop-ups. Now, since I just created, this is the application that we created by using SAM, already available templates. By using SAM default templates, we created this application for hello world, right? You can open and see that template YAML file. Now I'm just opening this YAML file, and you can even update this YAML file based on your requirement. So why this transform directive is used? Because in order to specify this is a SAM template, so that's why this transform directive is available here. And this globals is used to define you a global variables details. These global variables you can use for many number of times, or you can say these are taken as the default values for function, that is Lambda function that you are going to create under these resources, where under these resources only you can able to write what are the resources that you want to create. Here you can see we have provided a unique name as the function name, and we have even provided the type as function, AWS serverless function, which indicates Lambda function. We are specifying the type as Lambda function, and we provided the Lambda function related properties like in which where my code is present, that code related folder, and what is my code handler, that is inside which file, from which function do I need to start executing, and runtime on top of what runtime I gonna run this application code, and on top of which architecture I actually need to run this code. Those all things we have provided under properties here. And you can see we have even provided the event triggers to this Lambda function by using what type? API gateway type. And whenever we requested this API gateway with get method request followed by this path, that is hello, then obviously this Lambda function will be triggered. So whenever this Lambda function will be triggered, the code which is present inside this folder with a name this app will be executed. Inside that also this Lambda handler function will run at first. Your execution starts at this Lambda handler, and that will run on this Python 3.9 environment under this architecture, right? Yeah. So now you can see at the end we defined the outputs as well. So here we displayed the API gateway related endpoint, right? Yeah, and our Lambda function ARN also we provided here as an output, and we also provided by using what role we are executing this. That role related configurations also we are getting and printing here, right? Yeah. So but let's have a question. In our application, in our requirement, in our architecture, so what we require an API gateway, Lambda function, and a DynamoDB at the back end of my Lambda function. So how this Lambda function is triggered? By using API gateway. It's already configured. That is my Lambda function creation as well as triggering this Lambda function by using this API gateway already configured in my template. Now what configuration do I need to provide? I need to provide this DynamoDB related configuration, right? Yeah. In order to create this as well, by using the same template, I need to provide that configuration as well. So where actually I need to create that resource, sir. You can create that resource under this resources tab. Now I'm pasting that code related to this DynamoDB. You can see this is the table name. This is the DynamoDB table name that I'm going to create. And I specified the table, I specified the type of resource as simple table. The simple table indicates it's a DynamoDB table. As per SAM template, it refers to DynamoDB table. And we are creating the table with a property as table name property as app table. So by using this name, it will create a DynamoDB table for us. Even we provided the unique name for the resource, right? Yeah. Now I'm just expecting to save this whatever the updated code here that is related to my DynamoDB. I'm just selecting file, clicking on save, so that this code will be, or this template updated template will be now just saved, right? Yeah. So now in this template, I have created I'm creating this API gateway, and that will trigger to this Lambda function, and I have even separately created a DynamoDB table. Now, so whenever this DynamoDB, that is, whenever this Lambda function is triggered, I need to communicate with this backend DynamoDB table and get the data from this DynamoDB table. So for that, we need to write some code inside our Lambda function, right? So that's why I'm opening my Lambda function where it is present under hello world folder. Under app.py, actually my Lambda code is present. Now I'm just opening it. You can see this is my Lambda code. Now actually I have, and now I want to update this Lambda code as. Now actually I updated this Lambda code as well. You can see I imported the required libraries, and I just logged the data and created a session for my DynamoDB stream. That is, I connected to my DynamoDB stream from these two lines, and I specified the table name, and I connected to my DynamoDB table as well from this line. So then after, whenever this Lambda handler is triggered, I am just printing the whatever the event that I have received by using this received event. Then after, I am taking a message, that is a template message created. Like that, I taken a default message. So if my query related string parameter is not none, if it is none, obviously I'm printing this message by response. You can see I'm returning that response. By success code 200, I'm just returning that message as a response. Let's say I provided some query string parameter. So in that case, I am checking that do I provided any ID as my query string parameter. If I provided ID as my query string parameter, then I am providing this as my output. That is a template with that message ID I'm printing here. So let's say in real time, what we require, based on the ID that we provide, we need to get some data from DynamoDB, right? Yeah. So that you can able to do from these two lines. That is, I'm just getting that ID and storing it in the form of string ID, and I'm getting that ID by using this get item function. I have implemented this get item function here, where this get item function will actually check for whether that ID related data, that is that ID related data is available in my app table. Then it will get that data and return that data. It will log the data and return that data, return that item. Let's say if item is not there, then it will return item not found, right? If it gets some error, then it will return this. So like that, we have provided the Lambda function code as well, where actually this Lambda function code will interact with our DynamoDB table, and it will get the data from our DynamoDB table, right? So In this way, we can able to connect our API gateway with Lambda function and Lambda function with DynamoDB. Now I am expecting to save this as well. So for this, you just click on Ctrl S. So that is one way. And by just clicking on file and clicking on save, here also you can see shortcut, that is Ctrl S is visible. By just clicking on here, so then also it will be saved. Now we have created our SAM template and our application Lambda function related code as well. Now, so everything is ready for my application. Now I want to deploy this application. How to deploy it, sir? So very simple, just click on AWS. There you select this Lambda and right click on it or double click on it. There you can see a deploy SAM application option is visible. Just click on it to deploy your SAM application that you just created. Now you need to select application related template that you want to deploy. You can see this is the template that I want to deploy. Under app function, I have this template. So that's why I selected this. Then you need to select an S3 bucket to deploy your code to. Now I'm selecting this and you need to enter the name to use to deploy your stack. I want to provide appfn as the name for my stack. So that's why I provided appfn and I'm just clicking on enter now. That's it. Now your deployment got started. You can see here under app toolkit, this got started and sometimes it may fails due to some errors. If it fails, then you just rectify the errors and you can just simply retry to deploy it. Retry to deploy it. By just simply rectifying the errors, you can retry to deploy it. I'm just retrying to deploy it. Yeah, you can see it was deploying again. Right? The messages are visible to you. Yeah. So it is deploying. You can see that message is even visible here. That is at the right side down. Deploying SAM application to app function. This app fn is nothing but your template name that we provided to deploy this. Now you can see all the deployment related details are visible here. Even these are visible under CloudFormation Stack. Actually, this deployment happened. The SAM code deployment happened inside your CloudFormation only. So that's why there you can able to see this stack related details as well. Now you can observe your hello world function was created under your Lambda, right? Yeah. So now you can even see, check that your API gateway got created successfully here, right? Yes. Now I want to test this. So to test this, I'm invoking this from here itself. Invoke on AWS. Now I'm just clicking on it. Before clicking on it, I want to show you this screen. I'm just clicking on it. So whenever I clicked on it, you can see a new window is opening here. Now here I need to provide some template in order to execute it. I'm choosing this hello world template. You can see by just clicked here and typed H, that is visible. I just entered that. Now simply I am just invoking this Lambda function. This is a Lambda function invoking, not API gateway. You can see I'm just invoking this Lambda function. So whenever I clicked on invoke, you can see I got the received event related data and my message, that is template message created. Template message created. Since I haven't provided any ID while triggering my Lambda function, I got my message as like this as my response. Let's say I want to provide an ID. Now I want to trigger by using API gateway and I want to provide an ID as well. So that's why I'm clicking here and invoking on AWS. It will again open me another new window here. Here I need to select the resource. By using what resource we need to trigger this. Here you can see /hello. By using this only I need to trigger this, and in the form of a get method. Now currently I'm providing an empty brackets as a request. Now I'm just clicking on invoke to invoke that. You can see it is invoked, and what the message we got? Template message created, right? Yeah. Now I want to provide an ID and check. I provided the ID is equal to 1, and now I'm just clicking on invoke. Now let us see the output. You can see the output is template with message ID is equal to 1. Let's say if we have some data in our DynamoDB, then we got the response related to that DynamoDB table, right? From here it will get the data, and that will be taken as the message, that is template with message. That message will be taken, and that will be provided as a response output here. Since I just created my DynamoDB and it does not have any data, so that's why it's just providing the message as this, right? Yeah. Now let's make it a comment. You can say I comment. Yeah. I want to show you this DynamoDB table as well, that is created in this lab. I'm just searching for this DynamoDB and I'm opening this. Under DynamoDB tables, previously you would not have any. So since we deployed a SAM template, now you can see under tables, this DynamoDB table is visible now, right? Yeah. Even in this table, you can able to create multiple items as well. So by just clicking here, explore items. So currently it does not have any items. You can click on create item to create your own item. Here I'm just providing the ID as 1, and I'm adding one more attribute, that is a name, like Ajay. I'm providing the name, and now I'm creating this item. Now you can see in my DynamoDB table, I created one item that is visible here. You can see that item is visible here, right? Yeah. Now, if we provide an item ID as 1, then there we got the response as Ajay, right? Yeah. So now you can see we have implemented our architecture. That is, we created this whole infrastructure by using SAM template code. So where we created this under Cloud9, we created our SAM template code, and we deployed that code under this CloudFormation, right? Yeah. So I even expected to show you this CloudFormation. There you can see whatever the stack got developed, right? Yeah. So now I'm just opening this CloudFormation. There all the stack related details are visible. So whatever the stack that we just deployed, that is visible here. That is app.fn, right? Yeah. Now you can see here under this stack, you have an option that is events. So it will show you whatever the events that are done. So those all events will be visible here. And you can even see the outputs here. Whatever the output that you printed on your stack, right? That is a API related URL, function related ARN, and this is the IAM role related ARN. You can even see the template that you got deployed from Cloud9. You can see this is the template that we just created and deployed from Cloud9, right? Yeah. Now, at last, I want to open a code commit. What is that? Code commit. So there I want to actually store this whole app related data. I want to move this app related data to a private repository. You can see currently I do not have any repositories under my code commit, right? Yeah. So now I want to create that repository from here. Programmatically from here I want to create, and I want to move my data from this application folder. You can see under environment, you have this application folder. There actually my actual template file or whole my application code is there. Those code I want to move to there into the private repository. So for that, I'm opening a new terminal. Now I want to write the comments. So first I want to move into this application folder. So that's why I'm changing my directory to this application folder. Previously we have an environment folder, that is this, and we just move to our application folder. Now here you can see these all files and folders are visible. You can even list and see. So currently what I'm expecting, I want to create a code commit repository, right? Yes. So to create your code commit repository from here, you can write the command, that is AWS CodeCommit create repository. Create repository, and you need to provide your repository name. Currently, I want to provide my repository name as my app. So that's why I provided the repository name like this. Now, by using this command, actually, we are creating our repository. Now, I'm just clicking on enter. You can see our repository got created successfully by using this command. You can even validate that by moving on to your repositories. I'm just reloading it. You can see my app repository got created successfully. You can open it as well, right? Yeah. So this is the repository we have just now created. Now I need to provide the configurations. So in order to provide your configurations under your Cloud9 environment, I'm providing some command. Now I need to move this to my code commit, right? Yeah. So first to move my data into this repository, first we need to authenticate, right? Yeah. So to authenticate, I have written this helper command. So by using this credentials.helper, we can able to authenticate. And for this helper, we need to provide the URLs as well, right? Now I run these two commands in order to tell this command I run to tell the credentials that use HTTP path. And this I have run to tell my current branch initialize to default branch as main. I want to initialize a default branch to main as my configuration. So like that, I provided the configuration details. Now simply I want to connect it to this repository. Here you can see we provided the configuration related details. Now we need to connect it to the repository and we need to push the application related files to this repository. Now, in order to push this whole application function related details, so let's move on with the general comments that I want to initialize the Git here. So that's why I'm providing this Git init command. Now we have initialized our Git and we need to add all the files to our branch, right? Yeah. So to add all the files to our branch, I'm choosing this option, that is a git add dot represents current folder related files. You can see all the files will be added. You can even see that by using the status. You can see all are in blue color. No, that is all are in a green color. No file is in a red color. That indicates all the files are added. All the changes are committed. Now, at last we need to commit. So that's why I'm committing this by using git commit message. Git commit -m. I need to provide the commit message, that is updated code. So like that I provided a commit. Now we are allowed to push these all files to our repository. Now we can able to push all these files to our repository that we just created. What is the repository that we created? My app, right? You can see that is this. By using HTTP, we are pushing to this, right? Yeah. So to push this, you first need to clone this repository there. So to clone this repository, you can use this git clone command. Now I'm just copying this git clone command. So in order to use this, you first need to install this git remote commit. So currently I'm moving on with another command where it will directly connect that repository to here. That is this git remote add this origin location to the current origin location to this git repository. So where it is present under US East 1, my version 1, this repos name as what? My app. I'm adding the origin to this location. Now I'm just clicking enter so that this origin location is now added, right? Yeah. Now from where to where I want to move my data? I want to move my data from my main branch that I have previously created to this origin branch that I have just added, right? Yeah. You can see this is the main branch that I have previously created in my Cloud9. Now I've added this origin location. Now I want to push the data from my main location to this origin. For that, you can write this command. That is a git push as a user from this origin to from this main to this origin. So git push as a user to this origin location from this main location. So that's what we are doing now. That is from this app folder. By using this push command, we are now moving all these files related, all these files which are present under this app folder to where? To our repository. Before I'm clicking on enter this push command, now I'm expecting to show you the git repository. You can see the git repository. This is the git, that is my app repository. And you can see no content is there currently in it. After we implementing that command, we get some data into this repository. Currently it is empty. My app repository currently is empty. Now I'm just clicking on enter here in order to push this. Now you can see I'm just clicking on enter. So it will push the files, folders, everything to from this main to this origin location. You can see the branch was set to main branch set tracking to this. So that means you can see the whole data is pushed. You can see, yeah. So totally 138 objects got done. That is enumerated, and those are compressed, and those were written in this as well. Totally 138 out of 138 was returned. That is pushed there, right? Yeah. Now you can go back to your repository. Now here you can even reload this to get the content here. Now I'm just reloading the whole page again, or else you can move back and come as well, so that this will show you the data inside it. Now you can see under my app folder, so whatever the code that I pushed, that whole code is available here, right? Yes, those all folders available. You can see the template YAML file that I have provided, that is also available here. The code is also same here. You can check the table that I've created, that is visible. And so where it is present under the main branch, it is present, right? Yeah. And inside this hello world, you can even see the Lambda function related code as well, where it is present under app.py. Now you can see that that code is also there, right? Yeah. So what we did in this lab, we just created a SAM template. So before that, we just created an environment in Cloud9. By using that environment, we created a default SAM template, and we updated that SAM template and we deployed that SAM template by using this CloudFormation. This CloudFormation will then create me this whole stack for me. That is, these all resources for me automatically whenever I deployed my SAM template. Then after watching these resources, I verified by using this API gateway, can I send the request or not? If that request was successfully reached to this Lambda function and I got the response or not, those I verified. I invoked this Lambda function, API gateway. Then at last I moved my template to, or I moved my whole application code to this CodeCommit private repository, right? Yeah. So in general, in real time, what you did is for your final year projects, you used the GitHub to store your code related data because it's a public repository. Companies won't like to provide their applications related data directly public. So that's why they put the data in private repositories. Those private repositories will be provided by using this AWS CodeCommit. So now we use that CodeCommit to store our app related data inside my app repository, right? Yeah. So this is all about this. We have created our SAM templates hands-on, and we have even updated that SAM template, and we have even deployed that SAM template, and we have even verified the output as well. So I hope this video is useful to you and you understood this hands-on lab and you got some knowledge regarding hands-on implementation of your SAM using a SAM application and these all services utilization in AWS. I hope this video is useful to you. If you feel this video is useful, then please like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get the latest updates. Thanks for watching again. See you back in the next video. Until then, bye bye guys.